Lie to visit Latin allies, may transit U.S. amid China tensions. Lie inspects Han Kuang drills, highlights joint defense readiness. Leader Li detained in Taichung fraud-linked suicide case. Trump threatens 100% secondary tariffs on Russia. Nvidia to restart AI chip sales to China. Air-conditioned jackets help keep Tokyo workers cool. Jannik Sinner beats Carlos Alcaraz to win first Wimbledon title. Cambodia's torture sites added to UNESCO World Heritage List.
Hello everyone, I'm Oceana. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Wednesday, July 16th, World Snake Day, and here are our top stories. And for today's Taiwan news, Taiwan President赖清德is set to visit Paraguay, Guatemala, and Belize in August, with planned stopovers in New York and Dallas. The trip may provoke a strong response from Beijing, and some analysts suggest the U.S. could alter transit plans if China-U.S. relations warm. President赖清德inspected Day 7 of the Hanguang 41 drills in New Taipei, observing exercises by the Army, Navy, and Special Forces. Troops showcased urban camouflage gear, land-based surveillance UAVs, and patches from a 2021 Taiwan-U.S. joint drill, underscoring defense cooperation and readiness. Taichung prosecutors detained a woman nicknamed Leader Li in connection with a fraud-related case leading to the suicide of 5 family members. New evidence suggested possible collusion and evidence tampering. After a court hearing, she was ordered held in custody without bail. The investigation expanded with over 30 witnesses interviewed to strengthen the case. And in global news, the U.S. president was pressed on whether he trusts the Russian leader and replied, "I trust almost no one." Trump was speaking hours after he announced plans to send weapons to Ukraine and warned of severe tariffs on Russia if there was no ceasefire deal within 50 days. In an interview from the Oval Office, the president also endorsed NATO, having once described it as obsolete, and affirmed his support for the organization's common defense principle.
Doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means.
However, having just met with NATO chief Mark Rutte at the White House, the president spent a significant portion of the interview expanding on his disappointment with the Russian leader. Trump said that he had thought a deal to end the war in Ukraine was within reach with Russia on 4 different occasions. Russia has intensified its drone and missile attacks on Ukrainian cities in recent weeks, causing record civilian casualties. Putin has insisted he also wants peace but has said that what he calls the root causes of the war must be resolved first. He argues that the war is the result of external threats to Russia's security from Kyiv, NATO, and the collective West.
U.S. technology giant Nvidia says it will soon resume sales of its high-end artificial intelligence chips to China. The company said in a blog post that the U.S. government has assured it that it will grant the licenses needed to restart exports to the world's second-largest economy. The move reverses a ban on sales of Nvidia's H20 chips to Beijing, which was imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump's administration in April over concerns that they could be used by the Chinese military.
The chips have been a key focus of export controls aimed at keeping cutting-edge technology out of Beijing's hands, as the AI race between the U.S. and China heats up. The H20 chip was developed specifically for the Chinese market after U.S. export restrictions were imposed by the Biden administration in 2023. Its sale was effectively banned by the Trump administration in April this year. The announcement comes as trade tensions between Beijing and Washington have been easing. In May, the two governments agreed to a temporary truce in their tariff war. They set a 12th of August deadline to reach a longer-term deal over the high tariffs imposed on each other since Trump returned to the White House this year.
Japan endured another day of a searing heat wave, with temperatures soaring to the highest this year in Tokyo and leaving those having to work outside vulnerable to the risk of heat stroke. The extreme heat, which has become a norm in summertime Japan, has turned into a major workplace hazard, prompting the government to roll out labor safety regulations from last month requiring companies to implement protection measures against heat stroke. Employers are now required to ensure employees wear clothing that allows air to pass through easily.
At an apartment construction site in Tokyo, where temperatures exceeded 35 degrees Celsius for the first time this year on Monday, workers for Dato Trust Construction donned puffy air-conditioned jackets equipped with cooling fans on their backs while at work. The custom-made jacket, which the company developed with a construction supplies manufacturer, uses thermoelectric effects to enhance cooling and has been distributed to 1,500 workers. Construction workers are particularly at risk of heat stroke. They accounted for nearly 20% of deaths or illnesses caused by heat stroke in the workplace in 2023. Heat stroke alerts were issued in 30 of Japan's 47 prefectures after the country suffered its hottest June on record.
Jannik said early at Wimbledon that he had put an excruciating loss to Carlos Alcaraz in their epic French Open final behind him. Sinner was confident that one defeat wouldn't haunt him, slow him down, and certainly wouldn't mean a thing at the All England club. Exactly 5 weeks after the devastating defeat at Roland Garros against his rival, Sinner reversed the result, beating two-time defending Wimbledon champion Alcaraz 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 on Sunday to win his first Wimbledon title.
The number one ranked Sinner earned his fourth Grand Slam title overall, moving him just one behind number 2 Alcaraz's total, as the two stars of the game continue to separate themselves from the rest of the pack in men's tennis. Sinner, a 23-year-old Italian, ended several streaks for Alcaraz, a 22-year-old Spaniard who had been 5-0 in Grand Slam finals. Alcaraz had also won their last 5 matches, most famously in a 5-set, nearly 5.5-hour marathon at the French Open on June 8. Fittingly, this marked the first time in more than a decade that the same two men faced off in the title matches at both the French Open and Wimbledon in the same year, a feat last achieved by Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in 2006, 2007, and 2008.
3 locations used by Cambodia's brutal Khmer Rouge regime as torture and execution sites 50 years ago have been added to UNESCO's World Heritage List. The sites were inscribed during the 47th session of the World Heritage Committee in Paris. The inscription coincided with the 50th anniversary of the rise to power of the communist Khmer Rouge government, which caused the deaths of an estimated 1.7 million Cambodians through starvation, torture, and mass executions during its 4-year reign from 1975 to 1979.
UNESCO's World Heritage List includes sites considered important to humanity, such as the Great Wall of China, the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt, the Taj Mahal in India, and Cambodia's Angkor archaeological complex. The 3 newly listed sites include 2 notorious prisons and an execution site immortalized in a Hollywood film. The Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum, located in the capital Phnom Penh, was a former high school used by the Khmer Rouge as a notorious prison. Better known as S21, about 15,000 people were imprisoned and tortured there. The M13 prison, located in rural Kampong Chong province in central Cambodia, was also regarded as one of the main prisons of the early Khmer Rouge.
The answer for yesterday was C. Alert. The military issued an aviation alert to warn pilots about the restricted airspace. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Nvidia to restart AI chip sales to China. Number 1. Reverse. 颠倒,彻底转变. The government has failed to reverse the economic decline. Number 2. Temporary. 短暂的,暂时的. They had to move into temporary accommodation. Number 3. Truce. 停战协定,休战. The fighting of recent days has given way to an uneasy truce between the two sides. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. The snake is one of the oldest mythological creatures and has been revered by civilians worldwide. There are about 3,458 known species of snakes, ranging from the semi-frozen tundra of northern Canada to the steamy jungles near the equator, as well as many of the world's oceans. Snakes are highly effective predators and play a vital role in maintaining the balance of nature in each of these realms. And that's all for today's FUNDAY News. Be sure to tune into FUNDAY News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm your host, Oceana, and I'll see you next time.